Jump off that exhausting hamster wheel and into balanced living with Dr. Marissa.
Promise you joy in the mystery.
Dr. Marissa, also known as the Asian Oprah. Her mission, to be a beneficial presence on the planet. Her purpose, to be your personal advocate to live, laugh, love, learn. Her life motto, don't die wondering. Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Pay.
And welcome. You are tuned into Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on KCAA, NBC News, CNBC News, and NBC Sports radio station, AM 1050, FM 102.3, FM 106.5, and streaming everywhere. iHeartRadio, iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify, Amazon Music, Audible, and more. Because I want the absolute maximum splatter zone for my hashtag positively opinionated, hashtag relentlessly inspiring hope and happiness talk. Because you know I'm on a happy 88 mission, 88 million more happy people in the next 8 years. And I am so delighted to celebrate with you today, special day, because it is show number 600. And it's hard to believe that 600 episodes have gone by for this thing that started May 1st, 2012. It was about a month after I was awoken in the morning at 4:30 a.m. with a voice that said, radio. And I remember half sleepy saying, radio? Where did that come from? I'd been doing some TV commentary. If anything, that's where I thought I was going to be going. But the voice was very insistent and said, radio. And I said, can we talk about this later? It's 4:30 in the morning. And it said no, it said radio. So I woke up, I went to the computer and sat and wrote the title of the show, Take My Advice, I'm Not Using It, which, thank you. Many people love that title, especially coming from a psychologist, because a lot of us absolutely dish it out, but we can't take it. And I wrote a guest list, which I'm so grateful. I've had every single person on that list on, with one exception, the Dalai Lama, who said that he wasn't doing it anymore, but I did get a nice email from him. But I've had more than I could have ever hoped and dreamed for as far as guests on this show. And I thought, what should I do special for this 600th show? And I thought, well, how about spotlighting some messages from those guests who are now on the other side, loving us from there, but knowing that I got to speak with them before they passed, I wanted to bring their wisdom to mark show 600. So that's what we're doing today. I am so grateful that I had Charlotte Ray. She came on for Cancer Awareness Month along with Fran Drescher. And you'll remember Charlotte Ray from her award-winning role in The Facts of Life. Enjoy.
She's back again to mark my Cancer Awareness and Prevention Month show. Please welcome to the studio, Fran Drescher. Hi, Fran.
Supporting cancer schmance. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. I'm so glad you're back. And actually, before you talk, I have a friend who you may or may not have met who has some things in common with you. I'd like her to come on too, but she's going to let you talk because I know you have to leave early. But Charlotte Ray, an actress that a lot of people know from Facts of Life. She's an actress. She was just in Ricky and the Flash. She's also a cancer thriver, Fran. I didn't know if you knew that. So she's going to come on and also join us. And when you have to leave, she's going to take over and help me continue on the show. So please welcome to my studio, Charlotte Ray.
Hello. Hi, Charlotte. So nice to see you.
Isn't it wonderful?
I'm a big fan. Ditto. Ditto.
Well, somebody said to me this morning, you have two of the greatest laughs coming on your show at the same time.
Oh.
There we go. And I'm so grateful that you guys actually connected on my show. And I understand you're actually going through chemo right now.
Yes, this is for the third time.
Oh, geez. Okay.
Well, no, it's all right.
You tell me what helps you so that anyone listening in who has or is going through cancer right now, what would you say is so important for you when you're going through treatment or whatever you're doing?
Well, you just be grateful for the health that you've had and for the health that you're going to have. And I'm just so grateful that they detected the cancer. Well, let's see. Now I'm in cancer for the third time, and I'm still here at 91. I'm so incredibly grateful. You can imagine how I feel.
Yes.
And the second time, it was a different thing. It was a 6-month checkup, and my skin doctor found it, and my jaw was swollen, and I went to Dr. Simon, and I biopsy and lymph node in the neck. They said it was a salivary gland and in the cancer, and 6 months radiation. While I was rehearsing, I was doing a play.
Wow.
And, and then when that was done, that was wonderful. And then a year later, it came back again. I'm still above ground and enjoying my life and my friends, and I want to pass on as much good cheer as possible.
Beautiful.
It's wonderful, but the friend is doing something very, very positive.
Yes.
A whole program.
Correct.
What she's doing is fantastic. Yeah.
That's great.
I think that it's amazing that I'm still above ground and enjoying my life and my friends and life.
So there's
Beautiful.
proof right there. You can hear it in her voice. The reason why she is as she is and doing all that she is this amazing, beautiful, wonderful frame on her life in gratitude. I end every show with a question for all of my guests. Who would you like to be grateful to that helped you be who you are?
Well, my higher power, my God. I'm very grateful to God because I rely on God a lot. And I'm inspired by many people. But it's my higher power, my God.
That's beautiful.
Which keeps me together and motivates me to move and makes me love and cherish the people that I love and cherish the people in the world and say prayers. Oh my God, am I saying prayers for the people in the world?
Yes.
Especially in our country, but all over the world. There's so much chaos and so much disorganization, so much hunger and tragedy and death.
Yes.
Oh God, give some peace and love and bread to the people of the world.
And don't go away. We're going to have more of these In Memoriam spotlight interviews with my beautiful, wonderful past guests who are now on the other side, loving us from heaven with my dad, when we return on Take My Advice, I'm Not Using It, Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show, here on KCAA, the station that leaves no listener behind.
back your life with Dr. Marissa Pay.
And we're back. You're tuned in to Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on KCAA, NBC News Radio, AM 1050, FM 102.3, FM 106.5, and streaming everywhere, including my YouTube channel, where if you free subscribe, you will get an alert when a new show drops every weekday morning, and enjoy my red carpet playlist with interviews with Halle Berry, John Travolta, Quincy Jones, Layla Ali. Actually, she was on my show, as well as my new short film called The New PPP, Post-Pandemic Possibilities. So make sure you go free subscribe there. And it still is the holiday season. And if you're a last minute shopper, you don't have to worry, because you can still get my Happy 88 meal, a special holiday value, $88 worth of my Happy 88 products, including the audiobook that I actually narrate of my #1 best-selling book, 8 Ways to Happiness from Wherever You Are, and my children's book, Mommy, What Are Feelings? You get a download of that your kids can draw and color in. And the photos are from my daughters when they were 5 and 7. Got scared. You'll also get a download of my Balanced Tai Chi Gong, a moving meditation that promotes inner peace, one breath at a time, as well as registration just in time for New Year's, my 21-day fast from complaining with Dr. Marissa, and then my original music to round up the $88 value for only $28. So make sure you get that at drmarissa.life and enjoy it. And we continue with more In Memoriam spotlight interviews. And here is another beloved guest who is on the other side. Her name is Barbara Marx Hubbard, who another one of my guests, Neil Donald Walsh, calls the mother of invention. And one of the best memories of that show is how I arranged to have her daughter call in and wish her a happy Mother's Day. And she was surprised. It was beautiful. Enjoy.
She's called The Voice for Conscious Evolution of Our Time by Dr. Deepak Chopra. She's the subject of Neil Donald Walsh's book, The Mother of Invention. Barbara Marx Hubbard is a prolific author of 9 books, a visionary social innovator and educator, and also the co-founder and co-chair of the Foundation for Conscious Evolution. In 1984, Barbara's name was placed in nomination for the vice presidency of the United States on the Democratic ticket, proposing a peace room as sophisticated as a war room. I really wish you had one. She is the co-founder of the Association of New Thought, AGNT, the World Future Society, and is a member of the Club of Budapest. I was present for George Nouri's Lifetime Achievement Award presented to her at the Conscious Life Expo earlier this year. And so I am so delighted to have on my show Barbara Marx Hubbard.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. What a great show you have, and how many you've had, really.
Thank you, Barbara. I'm so glad.
For the new humanity.
Yes, it's a perfect audience, and you are 88 years young, I think.
I'm 88. Mm-hmm. Can you think of it going on 90? I've actually been telling people I'm 90.
Well, Chinese, you're actually 89.
Not nearly as interesting as 90.
Oh, no. I absolutely love the number 88. That's why 88? Yeah, it's a Chinese number that's a homonym for good fortune twice. So I love 88.
That's really interesting.
Yeah, so 88 is good. So my first question to you is, will you ever retire?
No.
Exactly, and I knew that. I
might expire, but I won't retire.
Oh, nice. Nice. When did you first feel like this was your calling? I mean, you are a renaissance. You're a pioneer, talking about things that people weren't talking about years ago. So what happened? Was there a burning bush, or
I'll tell you what there was. The thing that really woke me up was when I was very much younger, of course, but it was when the United States dropped the atomic bombs on Japan. And I had thought that power was good, life was good, intelligence was good. And then I suddenly saw, if we use that power in our state of consciousness, which is to win over and to dominate and control, that we would surely kill the world, not just the United States, but the world would kill itself. So here's how I got started. I asked the universe a question. What's the meaning of our new power that's good? How come humans are gaining powers of ancient gods? And of course, now it's nanotech and biotech and quantum computing and robotics. If you actually think of it, Marissa, this generation, starting with the atomic bomb and then moving all the way up to all of these very high-tech capabilities, are gaining powers of mythological gods, as well as growing in spirituality and growing in life purpose. But the new powers was what started me up, the question of the meaning of the new powers of humanity.
Like, what are we doing? What are we doing to each other?
And our generation is the one making the shift because the devolutionary cycle also is speeding up.
Interesting.
So we have to know, a key phrase I finally got was, our crisis is a birth.
Right. Almost like the coming out of the cocoon.
Yes. The crisis of the birth of a co-creative humanity that has never been seen before.
Interesting.
We've seen the butterfly come out of the cocoon, but we've never seen ourselves.
Right.
We really don't know if you take health, education, economics, science and technology, et cetera, and put all of that together in a cooperative way, you would see the outline of a future so awesome that nobody could hardly believe it. And at the other hand, we do hear the news of everything that isn't working under ordinary use in TV and so on. So most people don't know what's being born on the big collective scale. They don't know it.
Right. What do you think? Do you think, we listen to the news and the most often reaction is the world is going to HELL in a handbasket, is what I hear. And then on the other hand, because I'm all about balance and I look for the good, it seems like more and more people are, looking within. I hear ads on YouTube for meditation, which I never in a gazillion years thought that was going to happen. And your beloved friend and my big brother, Michael Bernard Beckwith, just on Stage Sunday said, 40 years ago, would you have ever imagined the things that are going on now, Kanye West having a show with Martha Stewart and Donald Trump being president. So what is your take on where we're going? Are we getting worse? Are we getting better? What's going on?
I think we're the birth analogy is very good because birth is dangerous. Now, we happen to have seen biological birth, so we know what it is. But if you had never heard of biological birth and suddenly you've got labor pains and this is happening to you, and then you see the result of it is this newborn little being that looks a mess.
Right.
And if you didn't know, you would think this is a tragedy. So the fact is, we don't know because we've never seen a planetary society with this degree of power to destroy and create come into the choice point of devolution or conscious evolution. It's not just automatically like the birth of a biological organism. Nature's been practicing that for billions of years, but you know what? Humans have not been practicing having to take some responsibility for the direction, not just of their own future, but the future of humanity. We don't have the politics for it. We don't have the news media for it. We have a couple of marvelous places like Agape, but very few in general. So I would say that everybody who possibly can tell us and make a synthesis of what's working, what's creative, and what's coming is doing the greatest service for humanity right now, like you, Marissa.
Aww.
It's really, really important.
Thank you, Barbara. I so appreciate that validation and support.
One of the great losses for me, not of COVID, but of cancer, is Frank Shankwitz, founder of Make-A-Wish Foundation, who was not just a guest, but another guest turned friend. It's kind of like an occupational hazard. That's really not a hazard. I loved every time that I saw him, which was probably once a quarter at different events. We shared speaking stages, we shared meals, we shared stories, and I loved his sense of humor. And the best compliment that I've ever gotten from several people, but especially from him, was that I was one of the best interviewers that he'd ever had. So here's Frank Shankwitz.
He goes through the cones, he comes back, that I passed my test. Yes, you did, Chris. Am I a motorcycle officer now? Yes, you are, Chris. When do I get my wings? Well, the wings were custom made. I said, Chris, it'll take a couple days to get those wings. I'll order them right now.
Oh.
He got to stay home again that night.
Oh,
A couple days later, I pick up the wings. Just as I pick them up, I get a call from our dispatcher. Chris is in a hospital, in a coma, probably not going to survive the day. I got permission to go to the hospital. As I walked in his room, his uniform is hanging right by his bed. Just as I pinned on those motorcycle wings, Chris came out of the coma. He looks at me, he starts smiling. Am I a motorcycle officer now? Yes, you are, Chris. His wish had become true. He asked for his uniform, he's rubbing the wings, he's giggling, he's showing his mother, and unfortunately, a couple hours later, he passed away.
Oh, God.
And I always like to think maybe those wings helped carry him to heaven. Now, our commanders contacted me and said, we have learned that Chris is going to be buried in a little town called Kewanee, Illinois. And we would like you and another motorcycle officer to go back and give him a full police funeral. We have lost a fellow officer. Remember, he was sworn in as an officer. And we did go back there. What's so amazing is our word of our mission got out. The TV stations in Chicago and Phoenix and so on are picking this up. As we approached Kewanee, Illinois, we were met by several Illinois State Police, City Police, County Police, who all helped give this little boy a full police funeral.
Wow.
He was buried in uniform. His grave marker reads, Chris Gracious, Arizona Trooper. But flying home to Arizona, I just started thinking, here's a little boy who had a wish, and we made it happen. Why can't we do that for other children? And that's when the idea of the foundation was born, maybe 35,000 feet over Kansas or something.
Wow. That is,
all of this because of one little boy.
wow. I'm like bawling. Thank you very much, Frank. And I have to redo my makeup. I don't know.
They're happy tears, right?
They're happy tears. And how moving. I'm like, I don't think I've heard the whole one. It's definitely not from you. I've read it. And thank you for sharing that complete story. And I'm going to give you Dr. Marissa's Beneficial Presence on the Planet Award right now.
And don't go away. There's more where that came from as I continue to spotlight interview the In Memoriam wonderful guests that are now on the other side in heaven with my dad, loving us from there. Don't go away. We'll be right back. Here on Take My Advice, I'm Not Using It, Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on KCAA, the station that leaves no listener behind.
Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Pay.
And we're back. You're tuned into Take My Advice. I'm Not Using It, Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on KCAA, NBC News Radio, AM 1050, FM 102.3, FM 106.5, and streaming everywhere, including my YouTube channel. And Yes, KZAA is the number one news talk station in the Inland Empire. And no thanks to y'all, I am also, thank you very much, seriously, the number one 8 a.m. show in the Inland Empire. And we're continuing. And COVID took a man who believed in me and actually recruited me for his organization, CEO Space International. I met him in New York at Carnegie Hall when we were both honoring another one of my guests, Bob Proctor, the Dean of Self-Development. And sadly, Bernie died of COVID, but he left a legacy, an organization, and a lot of people who learned a lot from him. And here's just a bit of what Bernie was like.
I generally tell you, your life is your most precious commodity. You're spending your life like a river. If you don't love what you're doing with a passion, don't do it. I mean, I generally think that in a lifetime, if you trade time for dollars, there's a period after doing it where you have a nice life, but it's not teaching you anything. You're not growing really anymore. And we're vibrant when we're growing. And so I always tell people, when you want to start working for wealth rather than cash flow, so that at the end of a period of time, you have a business you could sell for a lot of money, then begin to explore. If you don't own it, don't do it. If you love it, don't do it. So the two rules: if you don't love it, don't do it, certainly with your life.
And even though she wasn't the main part of the interview, she was definitely the reason why my guest, Frederick, who had his hands chopped off during the Rwandan genocide, was there. Because Jesse McCall was the reason why Frederick could be who he was and do what he did. And for that, I am so grateful. Here's Jesse.
We are blessed today to have a very special guest, Frederick, who had his hands cut off by the Rwandan regime when he was 15 years old. But instead of letting that get him down or change his life for the worse, he has taken that experience and really brought forth his unique talent, gift, and ability of both compassion and understanding to start a center in his home country, Rwanda, that helps others like him. And then he also met a woman named Jessica McCall, and I'm going to let her tell the story of how they met and what they're doing now. Jessica, welcome to Take My Advice, I'm Not Using It. Jessica, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much.
So
it's a privilege to be here.
Absolutely. And what happened the first time you met Frederick?
Well, it's kind of an interesting story how we met.
That's why I'm asking.
You know, and I was in a dentist's office. And I read People's Magazine about a fantastic woman named Mrs. Carr. And I won't go into her long story, but she is an absolutely fascinating woman and had the Imbabazi orphanage where Frederick was at. And so in the article, it said something about she would like teddy bears for her children. Well, I traveled around. We had many programs in Jesse's place, but one of them was to take teddy bears to hospitals, to Mexico, to Guatemala, to children, because everyone needs a hug. So I thought, I can't meet Mrs. Roosevelt, I can't meet Martin Luther King, I can't meet Gandhi, but I can go and meet Mrs. Carr and take 120 teddy bears to her.
Fantastic.
Well, it was a great idea. However, I lent the magazine to someone and they lost it. And I could not find it for a couple years. And one day I'm watching primetime TV, and they have this lovely young man from Rwanda who didn't speak much English at all. They had an interpreter, and he had this fabulous smile, as we all know, that lights up the room. Well, it lit up the television, and he told his story, which, of course, I was very touched by. But they showed him going back to Rwanda on a bus, as he was driving up, I saw this sign that said the Embassy Orphanage. And I said, I think that's where I want to go.
Oh, wow.
And so we focused down, and there was Mrs. Carr. She was in her 80s by then, maybe late 80s. So I got in touch with the television station, got a copy of the show. We got in touch and happened through there to meet Zachary. And I got my teddy bears together and went to Rwanda.
Wow.
So on the day before I was going to leave, Frederick invited me to the park to meet some of his friends that had various degrees of challenges.
And as they say, some die too young. Ryan Long was definitely one of them. He was the founder of City Gala and City Summit, and it was at his event that I got to interview Halle Berry and John Travolta. So I am grateful to him, and I know where he is as well. He's on the other side with my dad and all of these past In Memoriam guests. Here's Ryan.
Please welcome to the show, Jeff Timmons and Ryan Long.
Thanks for having us. We appreciate it.
Absolutely. So I have a friend who has not a answering machine. She has a questioning machine. And when you call her, it says, "Who are you and what do you want?" So, Ryan Long, who are you and what would you like?
Oh, thank you for that. I am a fundraiser for charitable purposes, and I would like to make an impact doing the type of events that I already do. So what's going on across the United States, the marches, the walks, the activities, it's just brilliant. It's wonderful to see that people are willing to stand up for something that they believe in, and they believe is justice.
Yeah.
And that's what they believe. And so, I mean, I think it's unheard of, unprecedented. I've never seen anything like it in my life.
And Renny Davis was actually just on my show 2 months before he lost his fight to cancer. But I'm so grateful that his wife came on the show with him when we were first talking about Peace Day. And then he came back on because he was actually one of the Chicago 7. And at that time, Netflix was putting on the trial of the Chicago 7. And I'm so grateful that I got to speak with him and have him speak to you about America, democracy, peace, and not war. Enjoy. I was calling it a documentary, but now I have to change because it's a movie or a film on Netflix, and it's called The Trial of Chicago 7. And I am so pleased to actually have one of the 7 here as my guest. Renny Davis was the coordinator of the largest anti-war and civil rights coalition in the 1960s, organizing the largest civil disobedience events of that turbulent time. He's an author, a speaker, a visionary. He's now dedicating his time to inspire, train, and coalesce the largest movement in human history to ignite a new humanity on Earth on a journey to profoundly change themselves to change the world. Please welcome back to my studio, Renny Davis.
Thank you.
So good to have you, and I am delighted that you could come back because I did watch the film formerly known as documentary because your character, who I loved, was the one who was basically in the corner, kind of not as loud as Abby, not as loud as your partner, and basically the one writing all the names down of everybody who had died from the beginning of the trial to the end of the trial. So my first question is, did you do that? Or is that also fabricated by Hollywood?
Yeah, that was fabricated by Hollywood. You know, it was we did know the names of everybody who had died, and we were very much focused on the Vietnamese too, which was really the great tragedy of the war. I've been to Vietnam twice.
once was just before the trial, where I was invited by the Vietnamese to come to Hanoi and receive American prisoners of war that were being released to me as a representative of the American people. And it was really a moving event. John McCain actually was chosen to be among those people being released. And, you know, and I really have to say, I felt a lot of respect for him when he chose, no, I'm staying until they all come out.
Wow.
And so anyway.
So let's go back a little bit.
I'm honored to be on your 444th program. I mean, this is quite an event. You know?
It is. It really is. Yeah. Of course. I
was the person who was decided to go on the witness stand during the trial to.
Oh, it wasn't Tom.
No,
I mean, it wasn't.
Basically, Abby and I together both testified. The movie shows that Abby testified, but the part that I played was important to us because I was on the stand for 3 days, and it was our only chance to really explain to the jury why we actually came to Chicago. And what I did was when I went to North Vietnam, just before the trial to bring back prisoners of war, I met a Vietnamese woman in a village, and she was just wanted so much to give me something. And it was a little tiny bomblet. It was a little smaller than a tennis ball. And it came from a cluster bomb unit that had 640 of these bomblets in it. And they would basically activate by the fins outside would spin, activating the bomb. And then when it would hit, it would send out pellets, you know, over about a 10 football field area. And so this woman had lost every single person in her family. Most of her village died too. And it was a tragedy I mean, if a pellet hit your leg, it was designed to ricochet up your leg and you would die from a slow bleeding to death. So I was able to actually say all of these things and actually hold up the bomblets you gave me in front of the jury and explain to the jury just the nature of this weapon and who made it and how it came to be and we were supposedly bombing steel and concrete military targets, but this didn't affect. I explained that if it went off in this room, we would all die, but we could then have another trial on the Vietnam War because the room would be intact, you know.
Right,
so
right.
It was a level of detail and true emotion from me because it was what I really felt, you know, and
right.
The whole jury felt the same thing. I mean,
so it moved them.
It really moved them. You know, the judge was so upset with my getting away with this that I actually was charged with 2.5 years of contempt of court just for testifying.
And my dearest friend, who started as a guest and ended up coming on my show 5 times, the beloved one and only Dawn Wells. And of course, you'll remember her as MaryAnn from Gilligan's Island. And I wanted to bring you snippets of several of her visits because I just will treasure every word that I had with her and every fun outing that I had with her. It was wonderful to be invited for Thanksgiving, as she promised, as well as enjoying the races and meals and poker. And I do miss her, but I know where she is. Enjoy.
Please welcome back to my studio, beautiful inside and out, Dawn Wells.
I'm so glad to see you. It's been a little while, hasn't it? Thank you. Glad to be here.
I'm so glad to have you. It is so fun to have you. And just for those people who have not seen her 5 other appearances here, you need to go on YouTube to find them. But just so people know the little bit of trivia around Gilligan's Island, I love to ask people, how many years do you think that show was actually on? It had so much influence. And people will say like 8, 10, 15. And I say...
Well, we were on the air 3 years, and that's all. But last year we had our 50th anniversary.
Yeah.
I was 2. They dressed me up as a grown-up and let me play MaryAnn. You don't know where time goes, but wherever I go, it's the fathers introducing it to their children. So it's 2 or 3 generations that you are happy your kids are watching it. It's a lot of stuff you don't want them to see.
Correct.
And it's 7 people trying to get along. And isn't that what the world is trying to do now?
Good point.
Yeah.
Good point. And what would you say to listeners who think that they're too old to do anything?
If you can get up and move around, if you can talk and if you can hear, and if you can see.
Right.
No, I don't think you're ever too old for something.
Right.
I think you have to. I've kind of gone with the age bracket I am, you know. I did Lion in Winter last summer, and I thought, oh boy, to be able to do that 10 years ago, I wouldn't have been able to do that.
Can I ask how young you are?
I'm 75.
It's amazing. This is amazing.
Well,
I want to look as good
well, you
as
look beautiful.
do.
I have no idea how old you are.
I'm ageless.
Well, I am too. I mean, it is in your head.
It is.
And I'm optimistic. I look forward for something tomorrow. I'm very happy, and I'm very positive.
Yes.
Do you have children?
I have 2 beautiful girls, 17 and 15.
Well, so you could be a grandmother at some point.
I could be.
Yeah.
I could
well,
be.
see, I'm not. I don't even have children, so no one's going to be calling me grandma, which is also something here. Grandma. We don't let our hair go gray anymore, like grandmas used to.
Right.
People are beautiful, still in their 70s and 80s.
Sure.
I just had lunch with Carol Channing and just blew me away.
I love her.
Oh my gosh, and sharp as a tack and
she's
funny.
What is she, 90?
93?
93. I met her. I was a speaker at the California Women's Conference. Actually, I'm on the board. And I'm one of the highlights of the conference was I met her, and she looked at me and she smiled and she says, "You're beautiful." And I went,
Isn't she
love
lovely?
her. She doesn't do radio. I've been trying. Harlan,
doesn't.
I want.
I
But she
know.
won't do it. But I just, that's the wisdom and the grace with which I would like to move through life the way she has.
Well, you are moving through it now, and you have
thank
children,
you.
which makes a difference too. You'll like that book.
Yeah,
'Cause
definitely.
It talks to me. What do you tell your 15-year-old?
Well, let's talk.
But I don't mean to
about
get
that.
back to the book, but I think
Yeah.
that's, I have.
No.
I'm not leaving any. When I go, I'm gone.
Yeah,
You know,
but
I don't have
no,
any
you've left.
siblings.
You're leaving like no siblings either.
Well, I had my father and stepmother adopted 2 children, and my brother is gone now, and my sister. I call her my sister, of course, but I don't have any. Really, any.
But are you lonely?
No.
No, I knew that was going to be.
But
the
I
answer.
surround myself with people. I mean, I'm always the one cooking for Thanksgiving, or I'm always the one that decorates first and come to my house. All the orphans that have no place to go.
Oh, I'm going to have no place to go, so I can come over.
Okay, come on over. You have to bring a dish.
So, what would you wish for yourself first, for the next however many years on
Good
this
health,
side?
for good health and a good mind.
Good health and a good mind.
I would hate to be losing my mind. Good health, a good mind.
And then what would you wish for, let's say, everyone on the planet? What are some specific wishes that you would have?
I would say slow down and smell the roses. Don't run so fast through it all, because where did 50 years go for me? 50 years since Gilligan's Island, it was yesterday to me. So slow down and smell those roses, and slow down and appreciate. Like you say, you have a gratitude every morning. I do it before I go to sleep. What was the best thing about my day? What things could I have improved? What am I going to do tomorrow?
Good. Yeah.
I do that always. I'm always thinking ahead, but maybe sometimes you don't feel good, and sometimes you can't walk, and sometimes the Alzheimer's would be the toughest, but then you don't know. It's your family that suffers.
Right.
So I just say do the best you can. Look at treat other people the way you want to be treated. Listen. Be gracious. Who are you? What am I doing here? Is this Hollywood? Oh, that's what I heard so much about this place.
I'm so sorry. I couldn't resist. That's beautiful. Now, my daughters and I also go through a peak and a pit at the end of the day. What was your peak and what was your pit?
Oh, that's good.
So that's, I'm following you. I'm following you.
I live alone. I have nobody to talk it over with. I'm going to call you up and say, this day, I tell you, I had a terrible day today.
No, it is. It's so important. And you have people in your life that love you. You have a lot of people in your life that love you that you don't even realize, I think.
No, I know.
That love
I'm
you,
blessed.
that you feel it. Where can we get your book?
You can get your book my website, dawnwells.com. I'll personalize it for you if you want. Or
beautiful.
Barnes & Noble. I'm doing a book signing at Romans. And I'm doing a book signing, I think Romans is my next.
Okay. So dawnwells.com, double L, one S. And you can sign up.
You can just go on and order a book, and I'll personalize it, or you can just go to your bookstore.
Great gift idea for the coming holidays. Yes?
Yes.
Absolutely. And I will personally buy a book and then give it away as my Asian.
Why didn't I bring one?
I don't know. Well, I guess I should have asked Harlan to. That's okay.
No, I would have normally.
Okay.
It was pouring rain and I was late. So.
Yeah, well, this weather is
my excuse.
Wonderful.
I'll get you one.
Oh, thank you.
You have to keep it for yourself, though.
I will keep it for myself, and then I will buy another one to give away for the show. How's that?
I may give you two. Hey, we got something going here.
That's wonderful.
Sure.
And I hope you have enjoyed all of these amazing guests that I've had in this 600 celebration show, marking my in memoriam of those guests who are now in heaven with my dad. And this is show 600 of Take My Advice, I'm Not Using It, Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show. Thank you to all who continue to support me, from listeners to watchers on YouTube, to all the staff at KCAA, and my first 400 some shows with Tony Sweet at UBN Radio. And now especially to all the guys at KCAA, from my station owner, Fred Lundgren, to station manager, Mark Westwood, to behind the scenes, Rick in the Morning, Rule, Joe Pagano, and the rest of the on-site wonders. Thank you so much for all the work that you do to support this show. This is Dr. Marissa reporting live from her living room, celebrating show 600 of Take My Advice, I'm Not Using It, Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show, here on KCAA, the station that leaves no listener behind. Reminding you always that it's all about balance. Peace in, peace out, world peace through inner peace. Go forth and multiply the goodness that you are, and have the best day ever.